Hi everyone, good afternoon. Can you all please tell me first if you can hear me, see me, everything is perfect at your end and at our end. Can you all please reply? Yes ma'am. Perfect. Good. All clear. Good to go? We'll just wait for a minute or two extra. Let other students join in, few more, and then we'll start with the session. So let's hear meanwhile, what are your New Year Eve plans? Anyone partying? Anyone studying? What's exciting happening? Hi Adrian, hi Dhyan, hi Balashri, hi Aisha, everything's perfect, thank you so much. I'm just trying to read your chat. What have you guys planned for tomorrow evening? Studying late night? No new plan, man, just study. Oh, impressed. That's right. Okay guys, I think let's start with this session. Of course, fireworks. Where are you going? You're going to see Burj Khalifa fireworks or Atlantis? Which fireworks? Or I don't know which emirate you are in, some other place. Palm. Palm, right, perfect. Okay guys, let's start with this session while other students join in. We should start with the session. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, we'll take your questions today. Okay, we'll make sure that we take your questions today. And let's start with our session. So what did we do in the last class? Not that I had the notes, but we'll just quickly revise what we mentioned, what we discussed in the last session. So basically, we kind of discussed that which are the different streams. Which are the core subjects that you must focus on, relevance or significance of the fifth subject, which is optional, or it could be very important for you or not. So that's all we discussed in the last session. What we're going to discuss today is how do you really decide, okay fine, you have chosen a stream for yourself, and it's rightly on the basis of your personality, your interest, your aptitude. Now okay, I've decided I want to take up commerce, but there's so many opportunities. Gone are the days, our days where we had very little options, but nowadays, you have so many options. Now, how do you decide that, okay, I have taken science, I have taken commerce. Now, what after class 12? So, we've decided what after class 10, but now what after class 12? Getting back to our main point that we keep on harping on every time, that guys understand whichever stream, whichever career, whichever option, if you are planning to get into, when you're planning to get into a top college of that career, of that stream, there will be an entrance exam. In fact, there's been a news last week after our session that Delhi University is making it compulsory to have entrance exams to get admission even in the normal undergraduate colleges. So even if you want to do a BCom, BSc, honors courses, anything that you would do, they are proposing that they will not give admission anymore on the basis of grade 12th exams. It will be entrance exams even there. So are you trying to understand, just try and understand the importance of entrance exams, because CBSE, even they are not going to give as much weightage when they're giving admissions to even normal undergraduate courses. So that's why guys, the importance of entrance exam, the coaching, the preparation for entrance exams is becoming even more and more important when plain courses are also going to give you admission on the basis of entrance exam, right? So now how do we decide? I've taken up science, now what do I do next, right? What I've seen in as many years of my experience in KP, at times, students end up taking decision on the basis of, what they have been told by their seniors, and unfortunately, it is at times on the basis of, don't do this, this is difficult. Don't do this, this is difficult, which is not right, okay? Whenever you're choosing a career, you have to actually run after something which is difficult to get. Let me give you an example, and I'm not trying to put down any career, any job here. I'm just giving you a perspective here. Now, tell me one thing. Why does a watchman gets such a lower salary in comparison to, say, someone who is Harvard pass out? Tell me. Or a doctor or an engineer. Why do you think a watchman gets a very, very small salary in comparison to all these high professions wherein students have gotten from good college and gotten a good professional degree? Why do you think? What could be the reason? The skill requirement is lesser. Skill requirement is lesser. Yes. Yeah. Anyone else? Balakrishnan, that was absolutely correct. The skill requirement is lesser. What does it mean? You know, what it means is that to be a watchman, it doesn't take anything. It doesn't take anything. You do not have a minimum qualification criteria, don't really need any experience, don't really need any skill set to be a watchman, right? Or a washwoman, right? You know, so there's nothing needed at all. Let me give an example. Now suppose I'm a big company and I advertise a job, and arbit example that I need a nuclear physicist. Okay, I put up an ad in the newspaper, and there are only 2 nuclear physicists in the entire GCC. They come for I call both of them for the interview, right? Now the first one comes into the interview room, and that person says, you know what, Monika, while I was coming to you for the interview, I already got a job, offer from blah 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 company, and you know what, I've just come here to say hi, thank you, but no thank you, but I don't really need your offer. Thank you, bye. Now, understand, I had only 2 candidates who could take this offer. Now the second one, comes in, and the second one already knows that the first guy has already rejected the offer. He's not going to join. Now he knows he's the only one. He comes in, he sits in front of me and he says, Monika, you know what, he understands now I'm desperate. He says, you know what, Monika, you said that, the salary is 50,000 dirhams. I actually need 75,000 dirhams. I'll be like, okay, given. Okay. Then he would say, you know what, you said you will give me a business class ticket. I need a first class ticket. I would say, okay, given. Why is that happening? Because unlike a washman, there are only 2 nuclear physicists who are available in the entire GCC, right? Now, the first guy has already said no to me, right? Now, the second guy, if he also says no to me, my entire business will probably, will shut down, right? My, millions of worth of business will shut down because, first guy's already said no. If he also says no, I'm done. So I cannot risk my $1 million business for an extra 25,000 dirham salary or for a business class ticket or first class ticket. I would say yes to all his demands, right? Because I don't have any other option, right? So guys, you have to see that, you are not getting into a profession wherein there are already too many people around, so because when there are already too many people around having those kind of skill sets, the bargaining power is not with you. The bargaining power is with the company, because I know if you say no, I have 100 more people who would say yes, right? But if I have only 2 people, 3 people, or very small number of people, the bargaining power is with you. I will have to, adapt to the requirements of the people because I do not have too many choices, right? Like, to give you a real life example, when I was a kid, pilots were in huge demand, right? I'm just giving you a perspective. You have to understand the difference, relative difference from my days to these days, right? They were in huge demand. The kind of salary and perks in comparison to in those days was really, really high. Now, why? Because one, it was a little difficult to become a pilot in those days, because there were not too many colleges with the right infrastructure. You had to be a science student to be a pilot, all those requirements and all. Also, in those days, there were very few airlines, there were no frill airlines like now we have Air Arabia or Fly Dubai, these kind of airlines were not there. Flying was an expensive, it was a luxury, right? Not everyone could fly. So, and there were very little pilots because it was very difficult to become a pilot. In those days, then, pilots could demand those kind of salaries, those kind of perks. Nowadays, I'm sure you must know a lot about this already. Almost 90% of the time, a plane is on an autopilot mode. Because the technology has advanced so much, you don't need as much human intervention, because 90% of the time it is already managed by the machines, by the computers, by softwares, by programs. You only need a human intervention, while landing or while, taking off. I'm just assuming, and I could be right, I could be wrong, but drone technology is already there, right? You never know, in a few years to come, technology will advance so much that the rest of the 10% of the time that human intervention is needed to fly a plane, probably that would not be needed anymore. Technology will probably take over even that 10%, which means the crew would still be probably needed. Let's talk about the pilots. Maybe crew will also be taken over by robots. You never know. I don't know if you guys know, there's one restaurant somewhere in Dubai wherein all these waitresses are actually served. The serving are actually robots, right? So you never know. Even the crews would also be taken over by robots. So yes, imagine from my days of the crew being so much in demand, getting such high salaries, from now when it's not like that, because there are no frills airlines also, which means the reason they charge less in terms of their airfare, because they're not paying as much to the crew, they're not paying as much to the pilots, they're not paying as much to the support staff, right? So that's how technology is taking over all of this. Now I'm sure people who probably tried to be pilots a few years back, they could be a little scared about their jobs, because salaries probably are not as good as they used to be. And as I said, maybe in the years to come, we will not need any pilots to fly a plane. Now, how do you ensure that you're not choosing a career or an or a stream that few years down the line you also wonder, my God, what did I do this? My job has been taken over by technology, by robots, by softwares. Now, how do you do that? That's very important, because you don't want to be in that kind of a situation. So there is something behind that, and I would like to tell you that again with kind of a story. What had happened a few years back, America got a little uncomfortable. There's a little bit of discomfort in the country, because when they looked around, they saw that all the top CEOs, CTOs, CFOs, are kind of Indians. I'm sure you must have, I don't know if you guys have read or not. There's so many people who have taken over the top jobs, in the Silicon Valley. Then this Chanel CEO is now an Indian lady. There's so many jobs, and the top corporates are actually, in the top corporates are all Asians, or in the top universities, in the top colleges, the students who are really doing well, who are on the top, are again Asians. They're Chinese, they're Indians, they're South Asians in other countries like Koreans, Singaporeans. So US got a little worried that our own people, when you compare the numbers and the whole population, that their own students or their own people are not making it to the top, and why these Asians are kind of taking over everything else. Be it the jobs, be it the top ranks in universities and colleges. So they got a little worried. So they went through an entire study, they did a study, and they came up with something which you guys already know about. They concluded that Asians, why they are on top of everything in these days, be it Olympics, right? That because they are good in Can anyone tell me what STEM is? I'm sure you all know. Yes, they are paid a lot, but not all the airlines, but not all the pilots, and it's not, and I'm saying, you don't have to look at the number, like if I say, okay ma'am, they're getting 30,000 dirhams. You have to look at the relative salaries, what pilots were getting paid in my time in comparison to other professions. It's not that big anymore. The other professions are getting paid more, so the comparison, the relative comparison is, has reduced. Science, technology, English and mathematics. Balashi, something wrong went there. Yes. Engineering and mathematics. Yes. STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So what US found out, the Asians, why they are on top of everything, because they are in good, they are good in one of these four, and that's why US called it 21st century skills. So they said, if you want to be in demand in the years to come, in the time to come, you should possess one of these skills. These skills are very important. If you think you are associated with either of these four, you will be in demand. Okay. Now, at times, students do come to me and they say, ma'am, but it's not STEM. It's STEAM, right? A for? None of you have questioned me on this. At times, students do say, ma'am, but it's not STEM, it's STEAM. A for arts. Tarunika says A for arts. Perfect, yes. I kind of, I beg to differ with that a little, Let me give you an example, because we are discussing this in terms of your, the probability of getting a high paid job. That is what we're discussing here, right? So let's look at this. Why I kind of not fully agree with STEAM. Tell me one movie that has broken all the records in the last, say, 7-8 years that has been produced in India. The biggest movie ever. Like India in domestic sales, in international sales, like it's one of the biggest movies India has ever produced. Okay. Sholay. No. What else? Okay. Nitin, bang on. Aman, bang on. Umair, bang on. Perfect. Anyone else? I want more answers. Yes. So a few of you have answered it correctly. Bahubali, right? Now, Bahubali, I'm a North Indian. I went to watch Bahubali. I didn't know who Prabhas is. I don't know who the actor is. If you look at the storyline, there's no great shakes about the storyline. And imagine, I was watching a dubbed version. Dubbed versions are anyway very funny, right? The lips are going somewhere else and the dialogues are going somewhere else. But when I watched that movie, it was like, it was magic on canvas, right? I didn't know the actor. I didn't know the director. The story was just like any other soap opera, right? But when I watched that movie, I was like, wow, I really couldn't wait for the second part to come. And I was so, enthralled by everything that was on the canvas. Why? Because of all these special effects, the VFX, the technology that was used in it, right? So art met technology, right? So even for art to kind of be economically viable, it has to be associated with one of these three. Like look at NFTs, right? What is NFT doing? The same thing, art with technology. I'm sure, I hope you guys know about NFTs. If you don't, please read about it. I'm sure you must know the kind of money that is going into NFTs is, I was reading it somewhere, it's gone into billions already. It's such a new concept and the industry is already worth more, a couple of billions. So that's what, even for art to be relevant, it has to be associated with one of these STEM. Okay, so you have to see that whatever career you're choosing can this be connected with STEM at any point of time, or will it be taken over by STEM in few years to come? So this is very, very important for you to understand that your career is somewhere related to STEM, and that's what I was telling you students, students who are looking at leaving mathematics, don't really do that. See that you're still somehow associated with mathematics as a subject in your grade 11th and 12th. Okay, so that's about STEM, very, very important. Now, let's talk about the entrance exams, right? I'm sure a lot of you must have already attended such and such session, a live session on DASA and CIWG. So, we have to now look at entrance exams. So, for science students, then the commerce students and humanities, right? If it is engineering, you have JEE main and JEE advanced. Okay? Then you also have, that's another, so this is for engineering. For medicine, you have Neet. Okay? I don't know how many of you know this or not, guys. No matter you want to go back to India or you do not want to go back to India, but you want to do medicine, please understand Neet is compulsory. You could be planning to do it from Honolulu or Jhumri Talaya, wherever it is. if you are planning to do medicine as an Indian national, you have to write Neet. Okay, so please don't think, some students think that, oh, I'm not going back to India, I'm doing it from Eastern European country or Europe or wherever. You must write Neet. Okay, so all the entrances, so this is one of the most important entrance exam to look at. If you're looking at medicine, if you're looking at engineering, it is JEE Main and JEE Advanced. Okay, the number of students who write these exams, guys, it goes in lakhs and lakhs, right? It's close to a little over 1 million. So, but don't ever get scared by that number of students. This time students do get scared. Oh, I'm not going to write these entrance exams. 10 lakh students, 15 lakh students write this exam. Where do I stand a chance? Guys, you stand a chance because at times, these numbers scare us, please, but understand 50% of these students do not even stand a chance, because a lot of time they fill up the form because my best friend is writing the exam. So they fill up the form, or, it's a school to write this entrance exam. So they fill up the form, or for some other reason, they thought they will write this exam, but somewhere down the line, they lose the steam, they lose the motivation, and, they go there unprepared. So don't ever get don't get scared of those big numbers. Those really do not really matter. The serious ones who are actually preparing for that the number is much smaller than those 10 lakhs and 15 lakhs. Okay. So you have JEE Main exam, JEE Advanced exam. Then there is another scheme, DASA. Anyone here who did not attend such and such session on DASA and CIWG? It's very, very important, guys, because your competition is much lesser. When you qualify for DASA and CIWG, you have some certain seats reserved in top colleges of India. Being an NRI student, the criteria is that you should have done 11th and 12th outside India. Very important to know this. At times parents, they say that, I'm not going to cancel, I'm sending my child back to India, I'm not going to cancel her or his visa, so she will still be NRI. Does that mean she qualifies for DASA? No. The only criteria is that you should have done 11th and 12th outside India. They're not interested in your visa status. They are interested in your certificate which says 11th and 12th done outside India. So that's a criteria. It's it's like it's the biggest opportunity you guys could have being outside India, right? Anyone here who wants to know a little more about DASA? If you are planning international admissions, then you have SATs. Apart from TOEFL and IELTS, those are very easy exams. Then you have SATs. There are two kind of SATs. SAT 1, which is kind of an aptitude test. SAT 2, which is also known as subject test, and those subject tests basically depend upon what you're planning to study in college. There are more than 20 subjects that you take SATs on, okay, and depending upon what you want to study in college. So there are two kind of SATs if you're planning to go abroad. Okay, these are the entrance exam. Do explain about DASA. What we have done, we have just shared a link in the chat. Please, it's a 3-part session. It talks everything from fee to the structure of the exam to the admissions. Please go and watch that on YouTube, and you'll get to hear, you'll get to know everything about DASA and CIWG. Okay, if you guys have still not subscribed to our channel, please do that, because we keep sharing, we keep conducting these sessions online. These are live sessions. At times there are some recorded sessions also, so you'll get all the information about DASA and CIWG. All I can tell you right now, that you have a brilliant opportunity, because remember how I told you around 15 lakh students write this exam. You are competing with 15 lakh students to get into those colleges, but when you go for DASA, when you go under DASA, the number of students is much lesser. Those numbers, there are around 3,000 seats reserved, and even if I extrapolate the number, there are not more than 10,000 students who are vying for those seats. So it's a brilliant opportunity. What has changed though? Earlier, DASA was on the basis of SATs, much easier exams than JEE Main and JEE Advanced. So student could get these seats, these coveted seats very easily, because SATs were much easier. From 2021, that has been discarded. Under DASA, if you're getting those reserve seats, the basis is JEE mains. You have to write this exam to be considered for DASA or CIWG seats, which means the competition in terms of difficulty level of the exam has gone up, okay? Yet, because the number of students who are actually vying for these seats is still lower, so it's a brilliant opportunity for you, okay? JEE main and JEE advanced, JEE, these exams happen here, okay? So Neet we have discussed. So Neet again medical entrance exam, and I hope you all know about the results. When I was talking about there are 50 lakh students who are writing JEE exam and people think it's going to be difficult. I don't know how many of you know it or not. Our student has gotten a rank of, it's 309 or 319? I think it's 309, okay. So from 15 lakh, our students have gotten this kind of rank. So it's not that difficult if you go about it in a very planned way, in a very structured way. We are there to help you, and similar results in Neet also. Like, I think this year we have some close to 8 to 10 students who are actually going to IITs like IIT Delhi, IIT Chennai, IIT Bombay. There are 2 students going to IIT Bombay to study engineering, you know, and like brilliant results when we talk about Neet. Neet again, the counseling is still happening, so we don't know which colleges, but the kind of ranks our students have gotten, we'll have those students going to the top of the medical colleges again. Okay, so that's about engineering students. Now for commerce, depending upon what you want to write, you can write CA foundation exam right after when your grade 12th. Then there is CS. This is just called a company secretariat exam, again a very, so I say CA, CS, okay. Then there is ICWA. Please write these somewhere. If you're looking at commerce related career, these are the courses that you can register for and prepare for. So these are some of the courses when you're looking at one course which I was already that has always excited me. This is actuarial science, very high paying career again. Maths is compulsory. If you're a science student or a commerce student, you can actually do this, very high paying, very exciting. Okay, so these are some of the important exams or courses that you can look at when you're looking at commerce related careers. And then for humanities, students, a lot of students they write CLAT, the Common Law Entrance Test. Okay, so for law you can look at CLAT. Then you have fashion designing courses, interior designing courses. A lot of students go on to do literature. Okay, but understand, as I said, even colleges where you can go and study literature are going to have entrance exams, so don't forget, don't lose your sight on entrance exams. Okay, and what else? So then a lot of students start preparing for civil services, right? IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, depending upon their interest, they start looking at those exams. So all these exams that you can look at, all these entrance exams more or less, except SATs, where SATs keep on happening throughout the year, these exams will happen after your grade 12th board exams. Okay, I hope you all understand that when you're preparing for entrance exams, you don't really have to worry about your board exams preparation, guys, because please understand one thing, more or less the syllabus is same for all these entrance exams. Be it related to commerce, be it related to science, the syllabus is same. Syllabus is what you're going to study in grade 11th and 12th. Okay, the difference is when you're looking at CBSE, when you go on to write your CBSE board exams, you only get grade 12th syllabus. However, for these entrance exams, you get both 11th and 12th syllabus, and that's why students who go on for these private tuitions, they don't end up doing well in these entrance exams, because one, the private tutor teacher is not qualified, they themselves would not even understand the format and the structure of the exam, they don't have any exposure to preparing you for such exams. Third, which is very important, your tuition teacher, when you're in grade 11, will only teach you grade 11. When you're in grade 12, she will only take classes for grade 12. But these entrance exams have syllabus for both 11th and 12th. That's why. Now what we do as an institute, we make sure that once we have finished your syllabus in grade 12, we go back to grade 11th. We revise the entire grade 11 syllabus Once that's done, we come back to grade 12, closer to your board exams, revise that, make you practice that, so that since you're closer to your board exams, your preparation is, you are prepared better for your board exams when you're closer to the exams, right? So we do that, where in grade 12, we redo grade 11 for you, apart from doing grade 12 perfectly well, and that's why you do well both in entrance as well as board exams. So as I said, syllabus is that of 11th and 12th. What really matters is, what really differs is, one is the format of the exam, the structure of the exam, right? Because your CBSE board exams are subjective, little bit of objectivity in this, wherein your entrance exams are going to be fully objective, MCQ based, right? So format and the structure of the exam could change. What is really the biggest factor is the difficulty level. Okay, so if your board exams are here, a little difficult are SATs, a little more difficult, in our days we used to have state entrance exams. So other exams like, any other exam like KEAM and all, if you want to write, or other state entrance exams, a little more JEE main. I'm just giving you a perspective on in keeping engineering in mind. And the most difficult is JEE advanced. Same thing we could say about, medicine. The most difficult could be Neet. And if there are other, SATs, because you could have SATs in medicine also. Remember, I told you there are more than 20 subjects that you can take SATs on, depending upon what you're planning to study in your college, right? Now, as I said, syllabus is the same. This is the difficulty level that is increasing, right? When you're already doing questions, at this level, okay, fine. You were saying that, okay, I'm not even looking at JEE advanced, for any reason. Even if you are doing questions of this difficulty level, everything else below that becomes a cakewalk for you. Because the syllabus is same, you're only doing higher difficulty questions, right? More difficult questions. So when you are at one of these high levels, even if you're here, this is still a cakewalk for you. And that's why students at KP, when they are getting into top colleges, they do so well in their board exams also, because this becomes very easy for them. Okay, so don't really worry about what's going to happen to my school exams, will I do well or not. Your board exam result will be very good if you are if you're targeting something which is more difficult, more rewarding, and which is going to make more sense. Because ultimately, if I sit at home with 100% CBSE grade 12 marks, but if I do not get into a college, a good college, that 100 percentage in my CBSE board is like actually zero, because it's not getting me any admission. It's not going to get me any job. I will be sitting at home. That's why the importance of an entrance exam. That's why even normal, as I told you, Delhi University is also contemplating having entrance exam for even normal, BA pass or BCom pass or BA honors kind of courses. Okay, so that's about the entrance exams. Any questions so far? Ma'am, what do you think about the future prospects of chemical engineering or biochemical engineering courses? Very interesting. In fact, we were just discussing it yesterday only. With everything that is happening around, we could be possibly looking at bio warfare in the times to come. So I assume it is going to have a very good prospect. What have you written before JEE main? Earlier they used to be, so now what has happened is one common entrance exam, like for, in my days or even till a few years back, different colleges had their own entrance exams, so a student who's actually not wanting to take risk only and depending on one entrance exam, they would end up writing many exams, because a lot of colleges had their own entrance exam. In the last few years, the government of India has tried to make it easy for students so that they don't have to go through the pain of writing so many entrance exams. So they have made one common exam. So more or less all the engineering colleges in India, are through JEE main or JEE advanced only. Earlier, so I will just give an example. This is called KEAM, Kerala Engineering. It's an entrance exam from Kerala. So so those state related entrance exams or college related entrance exams, specific college entrance exams, I have tried to write here. So KEAM is an entrance exam if you're from Kerala, which you can look at. Ma'am, what is the difference between JEE Main and Advanced? Does it open any other careers? So the main difference between JEE Main and Advanced is JEE Advanced gets you into IITs. Everywhere else, JEE Main. That's the main difference. So if you look, so what happens is you first write JEE Main exam, okay? Out of all these students who write JEE Main exam, the top 250,000 students, only they are allowed to write JEE Advanced exam, which is for IITs. Okay, if you're not targeting IITs, you are not expected to write JEE Advanced. If you are targeting IITs, and why you shouldn't, right? We should always aim higher, right? So if you are, so when you intend to write, when you intend to get into IITs, that is when you write JEE Advanced. It's a little more difficult exam. Okay, obviously, remember I showed you the difficulty level, but yeah, that's the biggest difference. Tarunika, that's what I mentioned last year, guys, I'm getting into the new year, right? In the next 2 days, 2022, so I've already teleported myself to 22. So in my last session, remember I told you it depends from college to college. Some colleges say that you should have bio, you should have studied bio in 11th and 12th. Some colleges say that you should have studied chemistry in 11th and 12th. Some colleges say you should have studied both. So if you are targeting biomedical engineering and those kind of courses, my suggestion to you, because I'm sure you would not have zeroed down on which college or which country you're looking at, just to be on the safer side, if you are targeting those colleges, please take both maths and chemistry, maths and bio. What value does Neet offer to your portfolio for admissions abroad? In terms of, you think if it is going to make it easier for you to get admissions abroad, not really, but it's something that you don't have an option. It is mandatory. You are an Indian national, you are going to study medicine, whichever country, whichever college, it is mandatory for you to write Neet. It will not, really make any admission easier for you. I could give you an example. It could differ from college to college, from countries to countries. Like, you've heard of NTU, NUS, right? NTU, NUS also consider your JEE Main or JEE Advanced, one of these two, to give you admission into one of these two colleges. Okay, so you never know, some colleges could actually look at your performance in Neet, and if you've really done well, you could get admission on the basis of that. So it could differ that way. Otherwise, as I said, it's not an optional thing to think about. It is mandatory for you to write Neet if you are planning to do medicine wherever it is from. Okay, so I think this is all for now. I will just take a few questions here. Ma'am, do you think that being a pilot is still future proof? Looks a little dicey. Aman. Because as I said, drones have already come in, right? Like someone once asked me, ma'am, what do you think about army? So will army be out of question, like, would it still be a thing to get into army or, navy or defense services, right? So what I would say in that regard, we would still need army, we would still need navy, we would still need our defense forces. What would change is how we're going to fight those wars. So it may not be as much on foot, in the years to come. It will be more to do with technology, right? Like drones are getting used, right? As I just said, chemical biowarfare, right? So we would still need our defense forces. How we're going to fight those wars would change, against them. Guys, it's very, very important to, you could have some other plans for yourself. You have to be, as I said in the last session, that we can't really base our future on some free lottery to win over a lottery or to hit a jackpot. We need to have a solid plan that how we're going to make it big in life, how we want to be successful, how we want to be rich. And education is kind of little, it gives you that, it's like a, what do you call it? That what proof? I'm not bulletproof, it's like future proof, like someone said, but I'm kind of missing out on that word. Like, for example, why I say that it's always nice to have a good sound education background. Give me 4 ways of making money or being successful in life. Like, what do you think? There are 4 or 5, what you can give me? Any examples to earn money in life, legal ways, okay? And to make it big in life, to be successful. Which are the different ways you can do that? Tarunika, there are different ways, see, you guys are living in such a dynamic world. So what Tarunika is asking me, other than in the medical field, which courses have better prospects in the future? Are there any new courses that we could look out for? You guys are living in that kind of time which is very dynamic. Things are changing on a daily basis. For me to tell you right now that, okay, this is really going to make a lot of money, or this will not be as lucrative in the times to come, is very difficult, because I tell you something now and something more exciting comes out 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. It's very difficult. And that's where I told you, just see STEM. Any subject that you're going to study, any course that you're going to take up in the next 2 years, 4 years, 15 years, if there is any bit of STEM in it, you are well taken care of. Just keep that in mind. Okay? So yes, my question, which are different ways you can make money? Ma'am, what is E in STEM? Engineering. So, ma'am, can you explain more about SAT? What is the scope of architecture in future? I think we could actually do one session on SATs. Yeah. So, see, SATs basically, when they began with, they were actually introduced for US universities and colleges to take admissions into, but gradually more colleges, more countries are accepting SATs, because these are standardized tests conducted across the world to get admissions into. Probably at some point, we'll do some session on SATs also. It's a little longish subject to talk about right now, but these are entrance exams again to get admissions to top colleges abroad. Is it advisable to write both JEE and Neet at the same time? If you can do it, why not? There are a lot of students who do it. We had 2 students this year who've cracked both Neet and JEE. So remember, as I said in the last session, when you take both maths and bio, you have to study 5 subjects we discussed in the last session. When you take both maths and bio, it becomes a little demanding in terms of, you're studying all the core subjects. But if you think you can put in those many number of hours, you can put in that kind of effort and energy, why not? So students do write both JEE and Neet, and depending upon which college they're getting into, which branch they're getting, they then choose. So what a lot of students actually do when they take both PCMB. So I could be looking at medicine, planning to write Neet. However, it's a little more challenging to crack Neet, because number of seats are not as many as into engineering. There's no DASA in Neet, right? So what a lot of students do, their heart and soul is into medicine, so they are big time targeting Neet. What they also do on the buy side, on the buy lane, they also write JEE main under the category of DASA. So God forbid, if I do not crack Neet for any reason, at least my DASA seat, my CIWC seat is kind of taken care of. Okay, so a lot of students do that also. So that answering that question, if you are kind of okay with, you could become, you're okay to become a doctor, you could okay to become an engineer. A lot of students do this. So they take PCMB and they apply and they write both. What is the scope of architecture in future? There's a lot of scope. There's a lot of scope because we're going to need architects, right? So probably you guys have to really innovate and see that, because the population is increasing, we may not have as much space and resources to actually have housing for everyone else. You guys would be needed to probably look at newer way of creating things, and also there's scope. Till the time we're going to need housing and offices and all, there is scope, guys. So I was just asking you, right, what are the different ways of making money? So someone said you could do business. Absolutely correct. Okay, so you can have a business, you can have a very well paying job. Okay, what I'm writing here is all about being top of the mind. So when I'm saying job, I'm not talking about mediocre jobs, I'm saying that you have a good job. So there is business. What else? Guys, anyone can tell me which are the other ways to be rich and successful and making money, minting money? Being a psychiatrist have much benefits or demand ahead? Ask me. Huge. Psychiatrist, huge. Gone are the days when going for a therapy or going to a doctor for kind of when it is related to your mental well-being, it's not a taboo anymore, right? We're living in such times when we were a little anxious, we're a little stressed out, because we don't get to meet our friends as much, no thanks to COVID, right? So people do are feeling a lot of mental stress and anxiety, and that's only going to unfortunately increase, right? So we would need good psychiatrists around. So it's got a scope. Investments. So the third one is investments. I could probably put either I will take it up as a job as an investment broker or I can do on the side as a hobby or maybe as a business. So it could be either a job or business. Okay, I'll answer this for you because I don't want to take much of time, but I really like it, discussing about this. Third thing could be this should have come from boys, girls also, but sorry for generalizing. Sports, right? You could be a Cristiano, you could be a Messi. So there is sports. So services, Ashif, again, it could be either a job or a business. What's the third thing, guys? Fourth thing, sorry, 3 I've already written. Which could be the fourth? Anyone? You could be an artist. When I say artist, it means it involves everyone, from a painter to a dancer to a Shah Rukh Khan to a YouTube artist, in your times to an influencer, everything. I'll put all of them here, related to arts, right? At times, students tell me, ma'am, politicians. Ma'am, there is a fifth one also, politician. So I tell them, you know what? Logically, politicians are government servants, so it should be a job. Unfortunately, they have made a business out of it. So whatever said or done, it is one of these two. So no, not politicians. Yeah, it's not a legal way of making money. They shouldn't be making money the kind of money they make through politics, right? So no politicians, right? So it's one of these four. Okay, guys. Now let's look at the probability of being successful in these things. Let's start with arts. Now, when you look at arts, I'm sure you guys, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are everywhere, or when we travel, right? We see these street, these street artists, right? They are performing on streets or in some fairs, when you go to these Europe, these destinations, right? And at times you look at them and you wonder, wow, this guy or this girl is brilliant. What is she doing here? She should be, she should be somewhere else, right? What is she doing here? And then you look at people like Abhishek Bachchan or say Salman Khan, who doesn't even know how to act or dance, and he's so successful, right? He's so successful. And you wonder, what is this guy doing here and what is that guy doing there? He has no right to be so successful because he doesn't know how to act, he doesn't know how to dance. And that's about arts. No matter how talented you are, no matter how capable you are, to be successful, there are factors which are beyond your control. Beyond your control. it's got to do with luck, it's got to do, you know, having the right contacts, it's got to do with, you know, having the right network of people. It's much beyond your capability and potential. You know, you could be the brightest, the most, you know, capable actor, you could still not make it to the top, right? And people like Abhishek Bachchan, he's successful or not, but he's famous, right? You know, they could still be there, people know them, they have that kind of money. So there are factors beyond your control to really ensure that you're successful or not successful into arts, right? Similarly, sports, guys. Our big example, how many people play for Indian cricket team? Say 11, okay? If you say, ma'am, but there is someone who, you know, there's a physiotherapist, there's a coach and blah, blah, blah. Let's extrapolate the number to 20, okay? Then the girls would say, but ma'am, there's a women's cricket team also, plus 20. Then you can say, ma'am, there's an under 18 team also. So plus 20 and 20, 40. So say 80. In total, say 100 people play for Indian cricket team, right? What is India's population? What is India's population? Anyone? Oh, there's so many chats I have missed out on because my window did not run along with you guys. 1.8 billion, a little too much, not that much, but I think we are close to 1.3, 1.2, 1.3, right? So look at the probability. 1.3 billion people, only 100 get a chance to play, right? And again, coming back to the same point, you could be really very good cricketer, but if you do not have the right kind of money to go to the right academy or bribe the right people or have the right network of people, you could still not get to play for the Indian cricket team, right? Again, coming back to the same point, factors beyond your control. No matter how good you are, you could still not make it to the top. Business, again, it's a very good way to make money. However, you know, there's so many factors again beyond your control that could make a business go haywire. Like a very latest example I'll give you, TikTok, right? One fine day, India said no Chinese apps. TikTok lost, I think, close to 50% of their business in one day. Okay, Indian government decided will not allow, business went down, right? So there are factors again beyond your control, right? Like I'll give you another example. I love talking about it. When I just started working 10 years back, yeah, you know, the one company which was number one in terms of mobile phones. Anyone can give me any idea which was number one company 10 years back in mobile phones? Yes, Nokia, right? You know, Nokia, no, not Apple. 10, 12 years back, it was Nokia, right? You know, and Nokia was such a market leader. And you know what used to happen in those days, very expensive phone even in those days. I still remember buying a phone, Nokia phone, for around 3,000 dirhams in 10 years back, right? The only thing Nokia did in those days, come up with a newer, fancier, you know, more vibrant looking phone every 10, 15 days, right? You buy your phone and suddenly after 20 days, 50 days, you know, they will come up with a phone which looks more fancy and it's only about the looks, right? Now, Nokia kept on working on designs and colors and making it look fancier, right? What they did not foresee is technology, right? Suddenly came a phone, the most plain looking phone, right? Most uninteresting looking phone, and it swept off the market. Which phone was that? BlackBerry, right? It's this small phone, no looks, no nothing, but the whole world shifted from Nokia to BlackBerry because suddenly I had technology in my hand, right? I could check my emails at any point of time. I didn't have to pay 30 fills for every SMS because I could then do BBM, right? I could go on my Facebook, you know, at any point of time. So, you know, that started happening. So, Nokia was immediately taken off by BlackBerry. Then what happened? Nokia was thriving, Nokia was doing very well, but again, they also did not kept with the time, and then came real smartphones, Samsung, Apple, and they took over the the entire business, right? So businesses could, even they need to move with the time to be relevant. They need to, keep on updating, improving themselves. And then in today's business, small businesses are being eaten up by big tech business, firms. So it's become very difficult for even businesses to thrive because things are changing at such a fast pace, right? Which are beyond your control. I gave you TikTok. Nothing was wrong. TikTok is thriving across the world, right? But Government of India said not happening. They had to close down their business, right? Now look at Amazon. Like Amazon is getting into every other business. Such a giant firm, right? Such a giant, it is a giant, and they're eating away small businesses, right? So many things that I don't know how much you know what they do. I'll give you an example. So suppose I'm a small time business person. I start selling a product on Amazon. You have to read about this, very interesting and scary also. I start selling something on Amazon. So Amazon obviously knows what is selling, what is not selling, what is high in demand. The moment they see a particular product is getting a lot of attention, a lot of demand and doing very, very, very well, they immediately copy the business. They immediately copy the product. They push their product too much and they start, because it's their platform. They do not let the original buyer anymore on the platform and they start pushing their own product. That's happening. You guys have to read about it. So that's where big firms are eating away small time businesses, right? So a lot of things beyond your control. But guys, if you have a good job, when I say good job, coming back to the same point again, which means you went to a very good college, like top college, you did a course which is associated with the STEM, okay, like so technology, sorry, not technology, skills that are going to be needed in the times to come. And if you are in a good company, well-paying job, this will be this is a solid plan to have in your life. This is solid thing to plan for your life. I'm not getting the word, I'm so sorry. You could just say that, ma'am, but during COVID times, things were not fine, right? People did lose their jobs and all. Guys, that's again, first of all, COVID was something that no one prepared for. But understand one thing, if you are a graduate from a good college, you went to a good graduation college, then you went to a good PG college and you got into a good job, with a very, very high firm. We could lose our jobs for some reason or the other because, COVID, no one saw what is going to happen. But what I'm saying, we could lose jobs for some reason. However, if I have strong credentials, if I have good experience, getting another job is not very difficult. I will not have to immediately close down everything and have nothing in my hand. We will immediately have something better or something as good as what we'll have if our credentials are strong. We went to a good college, we had a good degree, we had good experience. This will always stay with you forever and ever. Yes, what is very important, just like businesses, you have to keep updating your skills. You have to keep updating your, knowledge, your information. That is very much needed. It's like, even a Cristiano Ronaldo, right? He has to exercise every day to be a top player, right? Or a Messi, don't fight with me on that, right? Even he has to do that. Like no one, even Sachin Tendulkar had to go and do net practice every day. Similarly, when you're in a job, you have to keep brushing up on your skills. You have to keep improving upon your skills. So that will be there. However, no one can take away a good degree, a good education, a good experience away from you. So this is a more, this is something you can really fall back on at any point of time, right? So whatever you plan to do, you have some certain plans about your hobbies, your talents, your skills. What I would say, the next 2 years, let's focus on 11th and 12th, have a good college in hand. Any skill and any hobby that you want to pursue, you can do that later on also. When you get into good colleges, they have such amazing clubs, within colleges. Clubs, when I say, so there's a, reading club, there's a, elocution club. There are a lot of clubs that they have there where you can actually go participate, compete with international universities and all. They have big fest. You can do all of that, right? Mahi Dhoni, he flies a jet. Shahid Kapoor does that. So all these hobbies, you can do it later once you have established yourself in your dream career and all. hobbies can take a back seat for some time. Let's hit a good college, let's prepare for a good college, get into a top college, and then we can carry on with the hobbies and interests. Okay, bleed money to buy rival businesses. Nitin, I didn't get your point, ma'am, but some business have to be old. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Could you please explain? I don't know if I'm getting the messages on real time. I'll keep on scrolling. I'm kind of done with my session now. If you have any questions, if you have any queries, please ask me now. We will take another 5 minutes and I'll leave my email address with you guys. Oh, I think better way is we're going to post this on YouTube. You can leave your questions there and in the comment section, and we will reply to you. We have all your details and all. We'll reply to you. You can leave your questions there and we'll reply to all your queries, because here the chat is moving like at a very frantic speed, and I can't, by the time I read one comment, it's already gone up. Okay, let me scroll down. I think a lot of you are answering my questions. Okay guys, I think there's something I can't really read. My system has kind of given up on me. I can't, I can't read the chat and all. But as I said, just go online, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to upload this video maybe today or in a couple of days. You leave your questions there, or you can leave your questions in the previous session. It's already on YouTube. You can leave your queries there about your entrance exams, about the college, about the course you're looking at, or about anything else, and we'll get back to you on those questions. So leave your questions there, and thank you so much. It was lovely chatting up with you. As I said, we keep on doing these sessions. There are live sessions, there are recorded sessions, and we keep looking out, subscribe to the channel, get all the information, and we'll do some session, as we just said, right? We'll do something on SATs maybe. Okay, and thank you so much. You have a wonderful new year. Let's hope for a healthier, safer, and more happy 2022. Let's all stay safe, and let's say goodbye to 2021, and I hope we all have a lovely year ahead. And thank you so much. Your holidays are coming to end, so enjoy your last few days, but don't forget to study. Okay, thank you so much everyone. Leave your comments and questions on the YouTube video once it's uploaded. Meanwhile, you can leave it on the last session. It's already on YouTube, right? Thank you so much, and I'll answer all your queries here. I cannot read the chat anymore, so that's it. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.